Hello. Hello, welcome to today. So, how's it going? Today, the plan is that I'm just going to be continuing to draw my room. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't really think there's much else to go over. Let's hop in. So, where we left off, if I can get into the corner down here. Okay. Is here. So we did this little corner. That's where we left off. We went from that to that. Pretty good stuff. Pretty simple. So now I was thinking I might start doing some amount of this, or just might do the moss and the barrel, sort of go from that corner outward. Because I still am not entirely sure what I want. I think I might make one of them, I don't know, something from Skullgirls or something, some fighting game. And Skullgirls has the coolest character designs, so maybe that. We'll see. But yeah, so for now, that's the plan. Uh-oh. Looks like my keyboard is dying. Just a moment. Let me plug that in. There we go. Ding, da, da, ding. Cool. But yeah, so I guess honestly, this doesn't look so bad. Might just fix this first though, so let's do that. And yeah, today's actually a really nice day. I'm quite happy with it. Maybe I'll go outside a little bit later and I don't know, just chill. It's a nice enough day that I'd be willing to just hang out outside, maybe on the porch or something. All right. And then so we've got something along those lines. So that'll be blasted out. Pretty simple. Yeah, and then so we got our pink flower, which will of course look much darker. I wonder if actually we just kind of cut in on it and make it look blown out in that way. Maybe that'll work better. Let's see. And this is sort of one of those things where it's, you just kind of experiment and see what works. Because you're trying to catch a visual phenomenon that is not technically there, it's just a trick of your eyes. So you kind of just gotta wing it until something works. So that is like, it's been blown out. And then you get like super dark here in the middle. Middle and on the flowers. It does look kind of blown out, but I just don't think it looks aesthetically pleasing, so I'm just gonna abandon that plan. We're just gonna treat it like normal. We're not gonna make it blown out or anything from the brightness. Give that some flower petals. Get a bit darker for the middle part. Parts that aren't on the edge. Because I'm still going to give it like edge lighting probably. We switch back to that for... Switch back to black for the actual inside. Something along these kind of lines. Something kind of like that. And then yeah, we'll give it some rim lighting. Let me do something similar for the vine that's dripping down. And then we give it the old edge lighting. Something along those lines. So actually, what if... No, actually, let me finish out this thought. Something like that. And then something like that, maybe. I'm just trying to get too fancy with it, and I should just not like do real lighting on it and just kind of make it as it is. So let's 10 and we'll say 30. So we'll just make the inside part darker. And then use the outside part, something like that. Use that as rim lighting or whatever. That should read slightly better. Yeah, something like that. Looks good enough. These vines aren't, you know, terribly important specifically, so I'm not going to spend too long on them. Mostly, I think I just need to refine the edges. And I wonder if maybe I just add bright speculars to these instead of getting rid of the dark spots, because they should be high contrast considering how much they would be blown out. If that would make them read any better. It's fine. As long as it reads, that's all that matters. Leave that little part dangling down. And that does mean, however, that I'm going to be putting dark lines back into these flowers. Something like that. Then we take the bright bit and do the outside. Might also come back to these, we'll see. And because you are a window pane, you're just kind of going to be like that. And then we give this the semi-harsh lighting it deserves. And then give it the pass here. No, wait, they're not going to be casting any shadows. So that should be right. And then it's just this guy goes up, connects. This guy goes up and connects. So does this one. This one can dangle. Give these guys like an outline. And continue the modus operandi, which is the cylinder style shading. All the way up till we get to up here, in which case they're all going to be this like darker color. Okay. Good. Okay, and then we give him an outline. This one here is going to be like that. This one's going to cross over. To that guy. Okay. Okay. Yo. Man, I really like my BGM. Mad Duck did such a good job. All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, something like that. Reasonable. And we'll just kind of fudge a bit of the darkness / gradient back here so that it disguises mistakes and badness. Make it fairly greenish. Yeah, something like that. And then we will actually give maybe some speculars to one side. Maybe just one side will work good for that. Yeah, it looks good enough. Let's see, how is it without the speculars? Yeah, maybe I'll keep it like that. Generally nice and bright. Well, brighter. Then we'll take some of this, and then that'll be the shading for these guys. All these plant vines running around. Okay. Something along those lines. Like that. They don't need to look amazing, they just need to look slightly more dimensional. Okay, so the moss. Give the moss a quick one over. Okay. So then we very splotchily paint in the lighting. Make it fairly solid near the bottom because it would be underlit. Something like that, maybe. Yeah, maybe something like that, yeah. Then we will unveil this guy. Try to get closer to that. Then make a flower. Should probably be a pointy flower, to be honest. Because that is the motif, is pointy flowers. Yeah. I'm along those lines. And then, oh, actually. Yeah, so something like that, and then maybe this is a little bud. Somewhere there. Ugh. Okay. Get this nice and dark in that corner. Okay. Get the shading on that part about right. Then we add the moss texturing by stippling. And what we do is we take this and make sure that these lines are still somewhat kept. Something like that. And then so this part up here, also dark. Same with this guy. And this guy, and actually, so this one's going to have contrast like that. And do somewhere's around there. All right. And give some very minor moss texture there. And make sure those lines aren't quite that clean. Add another flower. Make it pointy. Do the petals. Center. This one's still going to be like mostly closed or whatever. So I got some along these lines. As well as that one there. It's just going to be a little speck pretty much. Kind of like that one. All right. I probably should, because I think moss is never pure green, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much. So, as an example, so this is what it looks like now. Oh, this is kind of too volumetric here. So actually, I'm gonna tone this down. There you go, something. So maybe along those lines. This needs to be pretty much flat, to be honest. Because that's what it's doing, it's moss. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's a bit better. Okay. Oop, there we go. Oh. I'm actually probably going to do this moss on a new overpaint so that I don't mess up this stuff. Microphone. Punching my pen in the back. All right. Okay. Got a general darkness. Same with you. Okay. Something along those lines-ish. Make these slightly different shades so that you can see that line. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me take some of this and we stipple it in. Actually, I think I might be doing this backwards. Hold on. So this one is the slightly dark shade that we're looking for. Maybe this one. Is getting the light reflected from the floor a bit, as well as from there a bit. And of course, just keep going with the stippling so that it has some kind of texture. That's why it's on a new layer. Okay. Good enough. And then, so just normal flowery stuff. Point those. those. And give him one of those. Okay. Give him another one. Sure. Then we'll need to add some amount of it being brighter over here where it's getting lit. Something along those lines. Because the floor is also being lit a bit more over here. Do something a bit like that. Yeah. Okay. Then do more moss stuff over here. Yeah. Yeah. Give this the old stippling. So something along maybe those lines. Although once again, it's not terribly volumetric. Give this. Right. Okay. Sure is a bunch of moss. Yeah. I remove the darker line. It's much less, directly obvious. Remove some of that extra volume, maybe. Yeah, maybe something like that. Okay. Now we'll do a barrel. So first things first, I got to get this shape actually correct over here. So the light goes like that, all right. I think we'll have it do something like this. So it's got that, and then it'll actually go down, meaning the break here will be farther down. Yeah, so that break there and that wood. Something along those lines. This is darker than the rest because it's the inside of the barrel. So break there. If we have another break there, maybe. Because that would be actually back here. Something along those lines, maybe. Okay. And so maybe something like that as far as length of the planks. And I think that might make this a little bit harsher. Something along those lines, maybe. As we figure out what we want exactly. Okay. So this comes down, does its thing there, and then it should taper down to the bottom where the barrel is. Okay. Something like that. So that means this is actually going to be trimmed a bit. This should be flatter. If I do this, that should look a good bit better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely more volumetric now. Speaking of, this guy needs to go there. It goes like that, meaning these guys are like that. Something like that. Okay. So now continuing on with the slats. So something about maybe that size. course, a little bit brighter there like that. Shift. Get some rim lighting, perhaps. Okay. Yeah. Something more along these lines looks nice. And then here should be fairly solid. If we take some of this and do something like that, give the very faint appearance like that. Now it's got some dimension with the planks there. Ah, I see. Right, because I made these vertical planks. So it should have some dimension here as well. Now, why I made the vertical planks? Because it was cool. All for the way this cavern looks. Cavern, the, whatever you want to call it, the hole that there's the flower in. Okay. There we go. All right. So now let's give these guys some volume because we're able to see inside. Yeah, something along those lines. Get a little bit of the reflected concrete light. A little bit of this reflected light. All right. So next up, gotta do something like this. Yeah. Let's add some wooden texture here. Like that, and then make it a bit more faded than that. That's a bit too dark. Yeah, something like that. That's good enough rendering, probably. Yeah, something. So now the inside should be the same shade. It is. Cool. Make sure that's all good to go in there. We'll make a mound of the dark green in the background. And then so this one comes out. So does that one, that one. This one comes out. Those ones stay in. The ones that stay in are going to be this color. The ones that come out are going to be slightly brighter. So I just had a couple of stray lines there. So this one, let's redo there. Sure there's enough of a distinction. Take some this shade, put it near the bottoms. Yeah. Get some of that delightful darkness. Rearrange keyboard here. Yeah, so some along these lines. But make them pointy. Yeah, something like that. That looks pretty good. Ah, right. So how about we open up like a little hole here. That's where this vine is coming out. Because he didn't get the memo about the giant hole over there. Oh. Oh, that's funny. Forgot I left the stream on while I was taking a shower, so I nearly had a heart attack when I turned the water off and heard another voice in the bathroom. Well, I'm sorry for scaring you in the shower. Let's see. Yeah, it's looking pretty good what I've changed so far today. Okay. Now, do this with some of that. And then have much harsher lighting on these ones. As this becomes super duper bright. Okay. I'll do that barrel as a whole, so we'll save off on the tendrils on that for now. And instead go to these ones. If I keep some of that. Something along those lines, transitioning into the darkness here in the pit. Yeah. And of course, the ground is just looking like concrete. Over like that. And might as well straighten this up, because this should still look fairly flat, to be honest. Oh, that's only if it's straight on. It can be tilted. I'm dumb. We can keep it the angle it is. It looks nice. There we go. So one of these old kinds like that. Kind of hard to see on my monitor if there's actually any difference going on there. It looks like, yeah, okay. It's very, very hard to see, but yes. Something like that. A little bit of that, a little bit of reflected lighting. Of the concrete. Some maybe like that. That looks better. I'm gonna let my hand rest for a second. The claw grip I have over the keyboard is kind of killing it. So I'm gonna let my offhand rest for a bit, and I don't know, maybe I'll just take some drinks. Because I'm not sure exactly what it is, but because I'm left-handed, and so my right hand is on my keyboard for all the hotkeys. But I'm developing this like claw grip, it seems, with the most used hotkeys, and it's kind of messing with my hand a bit. I'm not sure if it's just the position of my arm or what. Maybe I need to tilt the keyboard more. But kind of wearing on my offhand, so let me try rearranging a bit. Maybe that'll help as we go. But for now, I'm letting this hand rest for a bit. Maybe I'll take a little munchies on some. I got some burgers here, ready to be eaten at the earliest hunger. Yes, make sure to do the hand stretches and normal stretching. That's a good idea. Keep these hands loose and safe. It's always important to take care of your hands. No, these burgers are not specifically human burgers. These ones are cow burgers. They were the easiest to get nearby. So I'm eating cow right now, not just no humans on the menu today, it seems. ASMR slurp, huh? All right. How was that? Is that what you wanted? Okay. So continuing onward. Excuse me. I don't quite want to jump into the bookshelf yet, so maybe we'll do the bed. Right, so this is a concrete floor, so I'm going to need to make this more concrete-ish, as opposed to like wood slats. But luckily it's not going to be terribly like thick concrete or anything, so I don't need to worry about that too much. That mostly just means there's going to be cracks going through. So this is going to be more jagged also. Put some rock-like fellows over here. Means that this one is now just an opened part of it. All right. Now, cracks and fractures are sort of their own little microcosm of art, and it's so hard to do right. So again, I need to make this more jagged. Something along those lines, maybe. Yeah. This one's going to be a large slab. And we gotta make the other edge still jagged as well. Something along that line. That's looking fairly fractured. That part will be super duper fractured, actually. So this area in particular is pretty badly fractured, let's say. Yeah. Maybe some of the fractures go past where the pillow is. So these fractures back here. Gonna be a little bit more, not subdued, but a little bit more flattened. Because they're slightly farther away. Yeah. And so now I've also got to make the rubble three-dimensional. So something like this, because every crack then heads straight down as its own piece. Something along these lines here. Okay. Something maybe like that. Okay. Yeah, that's looking like a nice broken floor. So obviously though, I gotta take this, maybe lower it down a bit, and then make that actually darker. Okay, then we gotta do darker shading, the dirt and stuff there. Do something like this for those parts that are fairly well lit. Of course, as we go from side to side, it just gets darker anyway. Into this deep, dark hole here. So something along those lines. And this is a gradient. Right down to, whoop. No, I don't want to crop. There we go. The actual darkest part. And we gotta take the vine tentacle friends. And get them in there. Yeah, we can have that one be thick, why not? Yeah, and then so this one's going to be like that. And this one's going to be like that. Course. I'll make it super dark. Down at the bottom of these ones. Then we can bring that back. Yeah, something like that. That has to come from there. Give it the shadow treatment. Yeah, something along these lines. And a little bit brighter there. A little bit brighter on this side. So it's there. Yeah. Of course, something along these lines also. So let's actually do something like that. Give it more more space. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Just doing some chill over painting. This is relaxing. Yeah. It's looking pretty nice. Yes, well now. Get some of this action. Yeah. Make sure that's nice and dark there. And I can do something like that. The sides that are lit. Gotcha. Oh, I need to fix this area. Ah, there is a tendril. Okay. I was like, did I miss a tendril? Is that what's supposed to be there? 'Tis indeed. All right. Simple enough. Take another quick stretch break. Always important. Hand stretches. All right. So let's take an overview of what we've overpainted so far. It's looking pretty nice. Whoa, language so harsh. Drink some water, you thirsty bitch. You don't have to come at my dehydrated ass like that, man. That's rough. Such a direct attack. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get rid of that. Just because it looks kind of weird. Not for any other, you know, particular reason, just it looks kind of weird. What's this layer? Nothing. Okay, I'm deleting this layer. Nope, not overpaint. Keep that one. I need that one. All right. So now we can hop back in. I saw over here I've created a tangent, which I am not a fan of. Tangents are very bad. They make your work look less good. Just because it muddies everything. You want everything to be nice and clear what exactly is going on. Okay, something like that. Yeah, because this point was lying on the edge of that, so it was creating a tangent. But now, not as much. So back over to here. Probably do something for the pillow. Sure, it just looks like they're all interlocked and whatnot. Something along these lines. Yeah. No, that one looks a little bit wonky here. Something along these lines, maybe. And the great part about using overpaint as its own layer is that I can always just erase and return to where I was so that I can try something else. Like this, perhaps. Uno momento. So I think this one here was a part of the problem, yeah. It was too straight up and down. Whereas it needs to sort of curve more. Yeah. See, it's getting fixed. Slowly but surely. These are becoming interlocked pieces. Something along these lines. I definitely want to make sure there's some clarity here. So make sure that line stays fairly samey there. Something like that. So make sure there's still plenty of clarity there. Yeah, it's looking much cleaner there. So now I'll just get on some of this. I can make that line clearer there. So that the front bit here is a little bit better lit, and then we can take some of the darker and then do that to the edges of some of the ones in the back here. Yeah. Pretty much every pointy bit should have some of this on it, I think. Because that means that it's going into a shadow-esque part. Then we'll grab this to, once again, try and create some clarification in the lines. Yeah. It's looking pretty solid. Yeah. Would you look at that? It's a little vine pillow. So then now, let's put some flowers on it. So this one's going to be over here. Now these flowers will be a little bit stronger / more detailed than some of the moss flowers, because these ones are coming directly from the vine. The vine that may or may not be the actual Traptress plant itself. Who knows? But either way, I'm going to treat them like I treat the lotuses in my hair, and color / draw them as such. Okay. There we go. Then, so this one's going to be pretty much a full bloom. So we do something like this, maybe. Yeah. Just take the shapes that were already there, morph them into sort of what I want, and then give them the right color. And hell, there we go. Some along these lines, maybe. How is this one supposed to look? This one's just an amorphous blob, so gonna make it a bloomin' one. Speaking of bloomin', I have not had a, what are they called, bloomin' onions in so long. Maybe I should get one of those soon, because those are really good. I wonder if we can make one. It's pretty much just like you cut the onion a certain way, you put it in like a fairly liquidy batter so that it gets all up inside all the cracks and everything, and then you fry it. Granted, you need a pretty decent sized fryer, but I do have access to one of those, so it might be worth trying out. It's been a long time. We'll see how things look this week, but it does sound pretty good. I think these guys are actually a bit too small. Because you see how big these ones look, and then how small these ones look. So let's give them a nice little size boost. That's right. Botanists hate them. Use this one trick to grow 3 times your size without fertilizer. I also need to make the bottoms a bit more bulbousy. Yeah. Something along those lines, yeah. Yeah. That's looking much nicer. Okay. And then, since I was going to treat these like the lotuses on my head, let's give them a little bit of that extra shading flair. Where they're a little bit wider towards their center. Yeah. Looking good. And then we can actually give them some minor shading as well while we're here doing stuff. Yeah, oh, look how nice that looks. Sick. I want this vine to be a bit pointier. Yeah, so here's the bed. Yeah, that looks real nice. Don't close, save. Right, well, I was thinking of going for maybe another hour or two, but since I am also doing an art stream tomorrow, which, by the way, should be the same time as today, and since today's such a nice day, I do actually want to go outside and catch some sun while it's still good. So I think I'm actually going to end it here with what we've done here with the bed and the barrel. So again, pretty much what we did today. So this is how it was originally. Day 1, we did this little corner here with the gamies. And then today we did these vines, bunch of moss, this barrel here. You look at the barrel. And then we also did the bed, which actually looks really nice now. So that's a really nice bed. I'd love to sleep in that, which I may or may not do already, but it's really nice to do. So I am quite happy with that. And the pillow and the flowers look nice. Perfect, perfect. Fan-freaking-tastic. Well, let's go on out. So thank you so much for stopping by. See you tomorrow at about the same time, where we're going to be doing more. I think I'm probably going to work on the bookshelf tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be mostly the bookshelf, and then we'll do a lot of that, and that should be pretty fun. So thank you again for tuning in, and make sure to have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll catch you next time.